Bryce Miller did it again. Let's discuss on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5. Today is Monday, May 8th. I am Frank Sanford, joined by Scott White. And let's talk about Bryce Miller's latest start, where he was awesome once again against the Houston Astros on Sunday. 6 shutout innings, 2 hits, 1 walk with 5 strikeouts, had 8 swinging strikes on 85 pitches. Bryce Miller is up to 68% rostered, Scott, it feels like that number should be closer to 100% at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I was going through some of my leagues, putting in bids for the new week, and any league where he was out there, he's my top waiver wire priority. I think, it's not an open and shut case. 2 good starts to begin his career. It certainly looks like that fastball is an effective pitch. Doesn't have much other than the fastball. All 8 of his swinging strikes against the Astros came on that pitch. He threw it over 70% of the time. So it's a pitch that when it's effective, there's nothing more effective than an effective fastball. It's got the rising effect and everything that plays so well in the modern game. But as he makes his way around the league, sees teams for a second and third time, is the lack of diversity in his arsenal going to catch up to him? Are walks going to catch up to him? We haven't seen him struggle with control yet, but based on his minor league track record, he could. Still, better than anything else on the waiver wire right now, I would say, is Bryce Miller, and has a great matchup coming up against the Tigers.
Yep, I was aggressive in my bids on Bryce Miller this weekend, and for the reasons you mentioned, we need pitching right now. It's hard to come by. We know all these names are going to be ranked behind Bryce Miller, but how will you rank this group of waiver wire pitchers? Mason Miller put together another strong outing at the Royals, 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts for him. Domingo Germán survived at Tampa Bay this weekend, 5 innings, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts in that one. Logan T. Allen was just okay up against the Twins, 5 2/3, 2 runs, 3 strikeouts there. And Bailey Ober has made 3 strong starts. He was at Cleveland this weekend, 7 shutout with 6 strikeouts. How do you rank that group, Scott? Ober, Allen, Germán, and Mason Miller.
Yeah, I'm going with Allen, number 1. I'll take just okay in his third start, as good as his first 2 were, and tremendous minor league track record. A lot of strikeouts. Definitely want to see more from him, given the Guardians' track record with developing pitchers. Mason Miller, I'll go just behind Allen here. The biggest issue for him is that he pitches for the A's, and they're not going to win many games. They haven't won a game for him yet, but his last 2 starts, 7 innings and 6 innings. That was after he went even 5 innings just once in his minor league career. So it seems like they're taking the training wheels off, and Mason Miller could be a pretty good fantasy asset given his stuff. Bailey Ober is who I'll pick next. He threw 7 shutout innings this weekend. It was only the second time in his career he's gone at least 7 innings, and only the 6th time he's gone 6 innings. So he's had some workload issues as well. But I think the Twins are going to have to commit to him unlike they ever have before, given the injuries to their rotation. I think there's a lot to like here. Great control, high fly ball rate, but one that doesn't yield a lot of home runs. So he keeps the whip very low, and the strikeout rate is decent considering. So like Bailey Ober a lot. Domingo Germán will be 4th here, but I still think he probably needs to be rostered in most leagues. The swinging strike rate has been elite this year. Hard contact, but if you can avoid contact, then the results should still be pretty good.
We don't talk about bullpens very often here, Scott, but let's talk about a few interesting ones from the weekend. For the Cubs on Friday, after Brad Boxberger took the loss on Thursday, the team turned to Mark Leiter Jr., who converted his first save. And then on Saturday, one day later, Adbert Alzolay picked up his first save of the season as well. For the Yankees, Clay Holmes pitched in the 8th inning on Saturday. Ian Hamilton converted his first save. And then on Sunday, it was Michael King who pitched in the 9th inning with the game tied at the time. Clay Holmes pitched earlier in the 7th. And for the Oakland A's, it looks like hopefully they have found a reliever to settle on as their closer, and that looks to be Zach Jackson. Any thoughts on those 3 bullpens, the Cubs, Yankees, and Oakland A's?
Yeah, well, among those options you mentioned, I think Michael King is the priority to pick up. I think he's the most proven reliever And it does seem like things are trending his way for the Yankees. Last 2 appearances, Clay Holmes worked prior to the 9th inning, and 1 save went to Hamilton. King wasn't available in that game, and they have talked about using King in shorter spurts. So I think he's somebody who needs to be picked up in any league where saves are scarce. But I was also throwing in some of my deepest leagues low dollar bids at Mark Leiter and at Zach Jackson. Leiter, there's a lot more reason to wonder whether he's going to get continued opportunities here, but his performance, at least so far this year, has been closer, like 1.13 ERA, 0.94 whip, 14.1 K per 9. Zach Jackson, I think he's the best that the A's have turned to so far. Major control issues, but he's a good bat misser. He had a fine year as a setup man last year. So I wouldn't mind throwing a low dollar bid at him either.
All right, for more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Audacy app, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye!